I'm on Hackney Marshes. It is the beginning of October 2025. It has been a very, very hot and dry summer, which hasn't been ideal for so many species. It's not been a good year for grassland. It's also been a really bad year for short-tailed voles, especially as they recently recovered in this area, having been absent for 20 odd years. So the plan is to do a small mammal survey, a scan of the area, working out where they're still hanging on, and using the data we get from this survey, we can do what we can to help the remaining ones get through the winter. We know that voles have taken a hit. They've taken a hit countrywide. I've spoken to quite a few ecologists who have reported the same sort of results, either reduced or a complete lack of sightings of them. We haven't seen any while we've been working here. We've also noticed that there's a whole lot less kestrel sightings. They're not in the area regularly anymore. Weasel sightings have all moved south into the woodland area. That would suggest they're not hunting in the grassland area because of the lack of voles. Ideally, we work out where the voles are hanging on, then do what we can to help them get through the winter, mainly by providing them with a bit of supplementary food. I was slightly concerned that it may get a little bit too cold to do this kind of a survey at this time of year, but looking at the weather forecast, it's going to stay well into double digits for the next 3 days. So we are good to go. Traps were set that evening. I was joined by Nina of Renature, volunteer Laura, and Hackney's biodiversity officer Cassandra, who managed to find a bit of funding and buy the traps. Obviously there would be no survey without these. They will come in very useful in the future elsewhere in the borough, where we intend to do other small mammal recovery projects and possible translocations. It's the first morning, just gone 7 o'clock. We didn't set up all of the traps last night. As we came back to the last location, there were a bunch of lads in the wood area and they were having a fire. We did ask them to try and keep it under control. At least over the weekend there was a lot of rain. I'm glad it's not as dry as it has been recently, but you're not supposed to have fires here at all anyway, and the fact that they've had it in this location means that they've probably taken wood from all the habitat that we've built here. So that is quite frustrating. A quick check confirmed that this was the case, but it looks like they've put it out. Still hot embers there. I doubt that's going to reignite, but what can you do? Nothing. You can't do anything. You can't contact anyone from the council at that time of night because there's no one working in this area, and why should they be? And you can't call the police because they don't really turn up for anything these days. That's a bit of an exaggeration, but they certainly wouldn't turn up for a fire here. And for those that think I'm overreacting, there was a devastating fire just a mile or so north of here less than a month ago, resulting in a massive loss of habitat and wildlife. Right, let's get to work. The trolley is ready. I am ready. Just waiting for the volunteers, and then we'll go and check the traps. I didn't film much last night. It was getting dark. I only had the phone, which isn't great in low light. Yeah, I'd love to bring the camera out and document this properly, but that is another job to do. And when you're setting these traps up and when you're taking them down, you just need to crack through it and get it done as efficiently as possible. So it's all phone footage, I'm afraid. At this point, I could show a montage of us collecting all of the traps that have no animals in them, but that would be a bit boring. So here's the only record of the day, a short-tailed vole in one of the new refuges on the North Marsh. Here I am in pretty much the same place 9 hours later. Again, I didn't film much this morning when we picked the traps up. We only had one hit, one trap that had been tripped. That was a short-tailed vole in the North Marsh meadow, right next to the pond, in a low-level dead hedge that I built fairly recently with a bunch of Renature volunteers. Yes, it's slightly disappointing, but not unexpected to only find that one. We'll survey other parts of that area again tonight. Once we work out what spaces they are using, we can put supplementary food in for them over the winter. Right now I need to clean the traps and get ready for tonight's session. We lost one of the traps, couldn't find it this morning, and I did eventually find it later on when I went off for a look by myself. Interestingly, while I was doing that, I spotted a bird that I've never seen here before. Well, we couldn't find a couple of traps. Managed to find one of the missing ones, and I'm going back to look for the other one. I really wish I'd brought my camera with the big lens now, because that is a great white egret. I have never seen one of those on the marshes or on the Lee at all before. A little egret just flew past it, and it's incredible to see the size difference. It seems to be doing very well hunting. Apologies if this audio is rubbish because I haven't put my microphone on. Little egret, and there's a great white. And I also saw a common frog literally bouncing along right by the pond. So that's really nice to see 3 species that have not been on the marshes in the last 15 years within the space of an hour or so. Traps are loaded with hay to keep animals warm, apple and seed, which is food for voles and any wood mice that we might catch, and fly casters for shrews. I am licensed to catch shrews, and of course we follow all legal guidelines. Once the traps were prepared, I was joined by Cassandra again, along with Connor, who volunteers with us fairly often, and his friend Charlie.
Hello.
The general idea of this survey is you find mammals in the morning when you collect the traps. But I actually found the only shrew of the survey while we were setting the traps up. It showed how happy it was to be caught by repeatedly biting my fingers.
What do you need?
It's just got
My finger back.
Yes, it is a bit painful, but it didn't break the skin and there's no lasting damage. The next morning we had the same crew as yesterday evening collecting the traps. We were joined by Nina from Renature London again, Cassandra and Davin and Paco from the Hackney Parks team. We found one short-tailed vole in one of the refuges that we'd built in 2024, also on the North Marsh Meadow.
They're orange and white.
Davin, you want to have another look?
I don't mind having another look. Yes.
And we found another in a location where we've never found them before.
It's alright, it's alright.
This is a really encouraging sign. It clearly shows we're doing something right despite the numbers being so low. In the evening, Nina and myself were joined by Clive from London Nature Films to set the traps up for the final time. Mammal encounters on the final day started earlier than expected, before I'd even left the house in fact.
It's 6:30 in the morning and you're knocking on the door.
Although this wasn't one of the target species. We were joined on our final trap checking session by a good friend of Renature, Paul. Unfortunately, we didn't find anything on this day. But overall, it's great to know where the voles still are. Thank you very much everyone that helped out. And special thanks to Paul, who hung around and helped us clean the traps afterwards.